Hi guys, welcome to a new series, North Node in Leo. I'm wearing my golden blouse today because Leo is gold, Leo is the sun, Leo is shiny. So Leo is, here to be noticed. So before we dive into North Node in Leo, let's talk about your South Node in Aquarius. And here's how I understand South Node in Aquarius. There's two manifestations to it. That's how I see it. One, overall, I would say Aquarian South Node, you guys are my humanitarians. You guys have had lifetimes where you were very deeply involved with the society you were in, with humanity. You're always looking how to make life good for everybody. I mean, everybody. You're very inclusive. You're very, very friendly. You're always, you never, I don't want to say judged anybody, but you were very inclusive and you always had ideas, big ideas. The beauty of Aquarius is that you have these eccentric ideas about how to maybe invent with something. You guys are my inventors. You guys are the ones that came up with things that made our lives easier. So you're very intertwined with the idea of humanity, with the idea of Earth, with the idea of, groups. Wherever you were, wherever there was a lot of people, you were always like, okay, what can we do so that everybody benefits? The key was that everybody, not somebody, not one, but all of us, everybody. That's the idea with Aquarius. So you guys are, like I said, you have a deep caring for humans. You have a deep love for them. But the downfall of that is that because you have so many lifetimes that you invested in humans and you basically lost yourself in order to contribute to humans, wherever you were, you always kind of put yourself on the back burner and said, okay, forget about me, forget about my desires. Let me see, how can we all benefit? What can I do to make the group better? Because the group is counting on me, So part of you could be that because you were so intertwined, part of you now maybe hates humans. You really do. You're probably getting very triggered by what's going on now. Like you're very triggered about Mother Earth, about the oceans, about the politics, about everything where there's division and there's abuse and then there's all that craziness. You get really triggered by that to the point where it makes you hate humans. The very people that you love, at the same time you hate them because you don't understand why can't they see what needs to be done so we can all be happy on this earth, so we don't destroy ourselves or whatever. So that's how you see it. When I said there's two manifestations with Aquarius South Node, one is that because you were so enmeshed with humanity and groups and all that, the negative part about that could be a dystopian society. I love dystopian societies. They're scary, but they're beautiful the way they're structured, because the structure in there and this group thing of like what's good for the group, individualism is frowned upon. If you don't know what a dystopian society is, there's many movies about it. One of them, the series Handmaid's Tale, that's an example of a dystopian society. Fahrenheit 451. There's many other ones, but basically it's a society where the group thing and the benefit of it outweigh individualism, to where nobody shines, nobody is out there. And if you are out there, you more than likely get punished because you are threatening the existence of the group. They make you think that if we don't do this, this, and this, and this, we're going to collapse. We're going to destroy ourselves. So anytime somebody tries to get out of bounds, they either get killed, get punished, or destroyed, whatever. And then they make an example out of them to the rest of the society to reinforce it. So you with Aquarius South Nodes, it's in you, that dystopian society idea that, hey, there's rules. There's some rules that humans need to follow. And you probably are very set in how things need to be, how humans need to be. You're very set in what's right, what's wrong, what's moral, what's immoral. Aquarius, in a dystopian society, there wasn't a lot of feeling. There isn't a lot of emotions. It's all kind of subdued, suppressed, and shut down, because emotional outbursts will lead to the destruction of our society. And if we want to exist here, we need to maintain that, even idea. So you get the point. So you, with dystopian societies, you carry that in you as an Aquarius South Node of like the group is always outweighing individual. The Soviet Union is a great example, where individuality is not encouraged. It's seen as a threat. The United States is more individualistic. So that's one manifestation, one negative idea of Aquarius South Node. So to this day, you could be very critical. You could be very critical about how things need to be, what needs to be done, because you're always thinking about the group. In your mind, there's that belief, limiting belief that, the group, how can, humans, wherever you are, you always kind of see everything as a group, as a structure, as a society, and you're like, this would be a threat to it. You're too loud. You are asking for too much attention. You need to tone it down. We all need to be even keel. Another manifestation of Aquarius South Node could be that you did not get lost in groups. You were actually kicked out of groups because you did not buy into the idea of it. So you kind of isolated yourself. Back in the day, I would say my astrologers, whoever was, because Aquarius is intuitive in a sense. They get those brilliant ideas of that, information highway. They're so tuned to it. So maybe the ideas that you had were very threatening, once again, to the group. So you, instead of suppressing that within you and staying with the group, you said, fuck you guys, I'm out. And you kind of became that loner. So inside of you, there is that feeling of a loner, of like, I don't fit in here. And part of you guys, because, back in the day, they used to burn all the esoteric people, they used to burn the witches, they used to burn the forest people, whoever was putting information out there that was not, with the status quo, they were destroyed. Once again, they were, because the status quo had to be maintained. So you have those memories of being looked down on, of being kicked out of the tribe for being you, for being, unique, for believing what you believe. But you were brave enough to say, I believe this and I'm going to follow this. But it led you to a life of loneliness. It led you to a life of disconnection. It led you to a life of saying, you petty fucking humans, you don't understand, you don't see it. You're sitting there, all you're thinking about is food and sex and consumption, but you don't understand the bigger picture. So you kind of isolated yourself. You kind of put that barrier between you and other humans, and you spend a lot of time alone. So you have that in you, that strength of like separating yourself from all the craziness. But at the same time, there's a loneliness in you. There's a loneliness that's like, gosh, I kind of would love to be, over there and interacting with those people. I would love to be more simple. I would love to just kind of take part in games and fun and stuff. But you were kicked away from the group, burned at the stakes, and you almost inside of you, there's a fear of like expressing yourself in a sense, of going against the grain again. Well, now with North Node in Leo, you guys are here to kind of forget about the group in all its manifestations, to forget about freaking humans, to forget about Mother Earth. Don't worry about Mother Earth. Don't worry about the whales. Everything is going according to plan. You are here to focus on yourself. You're here to be totally individualistic. And with North Node in Leo, you're here to shine. You're here to be beautiful and bright and just expressive and playful and loud. You can be the loudest one in the room. You cannot be shy. You cannot be behind the curtains looking at the stage and saying, man, I wish I could do that. I wish I could dance my heart out. Because inside of you, there is a huge desire to express. There's a huge desire to show the world how beautiful you are. Not to teach the world of what they need to do to make this a better place. Forget about that. Because the more you do that, the more you're going to hate humans and the angrier you're going to get. So if you want to really change this world, you freaking light up your world with your North Node in Leo. You shine bright. And then people will see you and you will impact them that way. Not the other way of trying to teach them what's wrong and what's right and how we should do this and stuff. No, you're going to get more frustrated and you're going to hate them. So get away from that. Focus on you. Be selfish. And then you'll see how things change. Okay? Now let's go deeper in each house and see what we're working with. North Node in Leo in the second house. So before we dive into that, let's go to the opposite and go to Aquarius in the 8th. So when I was thinking about this one, I thought about technology. Because Aquarius is technology. Aquarius South Nodes, you guys had lifetimes with technological ideas. You might have been incarnated on a species that were very technocratic. And you're very comfortable with that. So nothing wrong with that. That's the expertise you bring in, because a lot of us have no idea about that. A lot of us are super intimidated by artificial intelligence or robots, whatever. So when I thought about 8th house and Aquarius, I was like, all right, how can we put these two together? So 8th house is the house of crisis. It's the house of, you know, sharing. It's the house of deep intimacy with another. It's the house of sex. It's the house of people's resources. So I thought with Aquarius South Node in the 8th, you probably had lifetimes where, if we talk about technology, technology was used to understand human trauma. And so as technology can be understanding, you know, you can have a therapist that's a robot and they can sit in front of you and ask you questions. You're still gonna feel like it's not the same as if I'm sitting in front of you and I'm like, hey buddy, give me your hand. What's going on? What's the matter? What are you afraid of? So Aquarius South Nodes in the 8th, you guys had lifetimes, I would say, in technological societies, other species or even technological earths, whatever, you know, anything's possible, please. You know, we're talking about Aquarius South Nodes, everything's possible with technology. So I'm thinking about therapists that were robotic, you know, artificial intelligence, that tried to understand human suffering, human drama from a logical point of view, through numbers, maybe through like, you know, maybe they put you through like a detector test to see how your heart moves when you're talking about something. But it's not the same. It's not the same as the human interaction. So even though you were there, you were still detached. You know, there was still separation between you and other people. I don't know if you were the fucking robot. I don't know if you were supervising robots. I don't know if you worked in a facility, but it's in you to approach ideas of human drama, of human emotion, of sharing, to approach them like from behind the wall, behind a glass window, as you are observing it. You're observing it. You know, Aquarians, they're logical. They like to study. They like to, you know, they're the inventors. They're the ones that like to probe things. And so you probably studied human emotions and trauma from behind the glass window. That's how I felt. And I fucking love that idea because it's cool. So somebody like the movie Ex Machina, you know, that kind of idea where you try to understand human sharing from a detached point of view, from a technological point of view. The same thing with sex. When I thought about sex, I said, okay, how can we tie that together? Okay, well, there's a lot of inventions now that allow you to have sex with an object, a doll or whatever, that's gonna compensate for lack of a partner. So you're used to that kind of ideas. You're used to, once again, sharing your body, but it's not intimacy. There's no intimacy. It's always cold. It's always separated. It's distant. So sex is also viewed like that. It's viewed as, I'm here, I'm having sex, but I'm not here. Technically, my heart is not in it. My body is doing the motion, but my heart is not in it. So, you know, you have these dolls, you have these sex dolls is the best idea. And I know they have some crazy inventions now where you think like it's a real woman or man, but you know it's not. You know it's not. So you have no idea about closeness and merging. You always kept your condom on, if I were to say it. You always kept some kind of wall between you and the other. And that wall happened, you know, even without you wanting it. You know, it was just how you studied humans. You know, maybe you studied human trauma, maybe you studied all of that, but you studied it. You didn't really immerse yourself in it. So yeah, so now you need to warm up. You need to take down these glass walls, break them, and you need to find the warmth within you. You know, with North Node in Leo, you're here to let go of that idea of like anything can be studied, anything can be understood logically. I can quantify everything. I can quantify sex. I can have sex without feeling. I can just mechanics, a lot of mechanics. North Node in Leo in the second is asking you to break all of that. It's asking you to find your heart once again. North Node in Leo is going to be about finding your heart that's there. That Tin Man that I mentioned. The Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. You know, finding your heart and finding feelings and finding warmth and really connecting. And this time in the second house, you're going to have to do all your research through yourself, through your expression, through your creative ideas, you know, not so much empirical studies, but heart studies. if that makes sense. Because Leo is all about the heart. So you will be asked to find out what's valuable. You know, second house is the house of values, the house of worth. You're gonna have to find your worth not on your logic and your ability to analyze things and your ability to detach yourself. Because let's say you were, even if you were not some kind of robot or technological, but you know, whatever you were doing, whatever your interaction was with another, it was never intimate. It was always separate. There was always a wall between you guys. And so this time you're being asked to find your worth not through detachment that you're used to. And you could probably be very uncomfortable. Like if you were face to face with a human being and the person is laying it on you, their pain and their, like, you know, their fears, taboos, whatever. And you're like, gosh, I don't know what to do with it. Fuck, let me figure it out logically. No, you have to throw logic outside the window. North Node in Leo in the second is about feeling everything and determining what's valuable, determining what's worth, determining what feels good to you, you know, getting in touch with your body on that level. Because second house can also be self, what do you call it? Indulgence. So with second house in Leo, you're here to indulge. You're here to kind of feel things, touch things, buy things. You know, maybe with Aquarius in the 8th, you were used to just the minimal and whatever's conducive to research or logic. Now you're here to just treat yourself like a queen or a king, you know, and spoil yourself on all levels and get to feel your body. And then when you do have sex, it can be warm and it can be, you know, sharing, and it's not mechanical. It's about really feeling the other person. So that's going to be your struggle, because you're going to want to approach everything logically, and you're going to yeah. And so with the good thing, I always forget about the good thing about Aquarius in the 8th, is that you always kept your cool in a sense. You know, when you're always behind the wall, then you never lose your cool. So that could be one good thing about you, is that when there are stressful situations, you never lose your cool. You're never right there on the floor with the other person losing it. No, you're always kind of like, okay, it's okay. Like you kind of shut down, and you're like, all right, okay, what can we do to make this, to get out of this? So that's the good part about you, is that you are good at separating yourself from the chaos. You are. What else? North Node in the second is about money. It's about your own money. It's about being creative. It's about, once again, let go of logic, connect to your creativity. You have a lot of crazy creative ideas to make money. You know, maybe before you relied on people's resources. Now you're here to make your own money, and you can make them creatively. You can make them through that warmth of a Leo. You can be some kind of a, you know, you can work with, let's say, children. You'd be great with that. You know, wherever you have to share warmth and encourage them, and so like that. So like you can, anything with creativity. You know, Leo is the actor, the painter, the singer, you know, once again, you'll be called to be visible, people to see you. You cannot hide again somewhere in the back of an office. You're here to share your warmth with the world. And the more you connect to your heart, you will know how you want to do that. You will know how you can make this world a better place. You will know what to share with the world, and you'll make money through that. You know, you're here to be indulgent. You know, you're here to buy yourself what you want to let go of that coldness and separation, and just to say, hey, I'm a human. Let me give myself, let me spoil myself, let me give myself what I deserve, because that's what you're here to do. Okay? All right, guys, I hope that helps.